Welcome along to PTI Australia for the very last time. That's right, this is our final show, and I'm Russell Barwick, and you are?
I am Sam Kekovich, and for the very last time, it's got a touch of sadness about it, hasn't it?
A little bit, yeah, but...
a long journey, decade journey, the family's breaking up, but having said that, one door closes, another one slightly ajar somewhere.
Yes, and we lasted about 9.5 years longer than both of us thought we would after the first couple of shows.
It's amazing how we've been able to dupe them for that long, Russell. Remember, we used to say that TV executives were smart. Well, this is living proof they're not. That's exactly right. It is the last time you'll be watching this little show. You can stop cheering now, but this is episode number 500 and something. And over that time, there's been a lot of stuff happen. So tonight, we're going to look back over 10 years of PTI. We'll debate the biggest stories, performances and scandals in our time on air. And haven't there been some? Plus, we'll look back on some of the gold from this very show over that time. And for the last time, it's all brought to you, of course, by our very good friends, sportingbet.com.au. Big thumbs up to Michael and all the team, because they've been with us pretty much since the get-go. So that's not too many shows can boast that. Same hosts and same sponsor over the last 10 years. Anyway, that's the first segment done. Next up, though, time to indulge ourselves a little. We're going to pull out a few tapes from years gone by. No. 5 really good minutes of 5 good minutes coming up. How embarrassing. This gets...
Now, Andrew Walker sullied his career because of obvious use of drugs, cocaine abuse. Now, you in your own career, stellar career as it may be, also was tarnished with a bit of a dark cloud.
Yeah, I was. I was the first player ever to test positive for marijuana back in 1990, which at that time was a big to-do. These days they don't even test for marijuana. But look,
it's like having a bench in the hedges now.
Should they test for recreational drugs?
Of course they should. Yep. Of course they should, because every player, whether it be marijuana, whether it be speed or cocaine or ecstasy, it affects your performance through the week in playing and it affects your performance in the teammates. And they've got a moral obligation.
Well, exactly. And I wouldn't think marijuana's performance enhancing, quite the contrary. I think it detract from it.
MG, I'd love to spend... What about some of that footage there? We've got MG with...
the follicles.
With follicles. You were bald as a badger there at one stage, but now you've got them back. So what's going on there?
Well, I can promise you I've done nothing with it. It's just...
Mate, you've done something with that.
I had no fertiliser. I promise you, there's no fertiliser on my
Mine was
cranium.
Orange there at one stage, so I reckon the girls...
Mate, you look pretty good. Put the camera back on me. You look all right now.
Next up, we're going to take another trip down memory lane, and this is where it gets really ugly. And when I say ugly, I mean really ugly. Well, the third segment in PTI has always been the fun part for Kecker and I. So let's look back at some of the highlights and lowlights, starting off with Dan. Our last one is...
Big Brother started on Channel 10 this week. They are desperate to have some sex for the first time. What are the odds? Sex on Big Brother this year?
I bet you're going to say 10 to 1 on.
No, I'm going to tell you something else.
What?
I've got no idea who's won Big Brother 1 or 2, and I pride myself on that, and also I pride myself on not knowing who's the leader of the Australian Democrats. So, quite frankly, I don't give a stuff.
Lingerie football in Australia will be...
I think it'll be gripping. I think it will be outstanding. I don't know if you've had the opportunity yet of watching this wonderful, wonderful byplay, but lingerie gridiron is outstanding. A similar format to the real gridiron. They have a quarterback.
Yes. I can't help myself. It'll be titillating.
Oh, that's common. See, that's right. The lowest denominator. Be like the rest of Australia.
Mate.
Dumb down.
Cannot wait to see them here.
No, they're not like that.
They're elite athletes. Don't you think that I'm serious? Because I'm serious.
I tell you what, anyone's Australian attendant getting excited, you know where, come along to a game.
Apparently I spelled it wrong. It should be that.
Yeah, no, it's good. But look, this is light entertainment. If you go to 2020 cricket, you'll go to lingerie. In fact, it'd be good if they played them at the same time. A 2020 game followed by a game
OK, I'm sorry I got the wrong word. It'll be boobalicious. Boom-boom!
One needs to ask the question, how did some of this stuff ever make it to air?
Sammy, the fancy dress shop didn't quite have the Ray from Village People outfit that you asked for, but they haven't done too bad. I'm going to have an even 50 that those buttons don't last this entire segment. I could be blinded. Football courts, The Australian Davis Cup Team 5 zip over Austria. Was it worth the worry?
Well, of course not. Did you watch that crap? I'm going to say, why are we whinging for? I'm going to say, at the end of the day, it's almost an admission that we've got problems, that we're no good. And what about the way the ball moves, almost at right angles? It is just crap tennis. Now, this is not one of my long suits. I deplore this insatiable appetite we've developed in this country, overdosing on, celebrity status. Why don't we just let people live their lives? What is it with these people who've got nothing else?
Will they marry?
I think they will marry. I think they're extremely happy. If the graphics are very compelling, every time you see them, they're embraced. They're in a mad hug. They ogle when they look at each other, like you and I. We leer, ogle. It's like a, when those two...
I don't leer.
Well,
I
leer.
Occasionally ogle, but I don't
ogle.
leer. Well, Swami might have got that one a little bit wrong, according to the tabloids.
Well, the end of the Swami, thank God.
Yeah, and there's a show out there at the moment that's stealing a bit of our stuff. You can have Swami for nothing. You don't even have to credit us.
A couple of other segments we've fairly got to be generous with as well,
Some
I might
good
add.
ones, though. What are the odds? What's the word? I enjoyed What's the Word.
Yeah.
Anyway, the list
In fact,
said...
I like the show a lot. I think it should be reinstated, don't you?
Feel free to call our agents. Next
You
up,
idiots who have sacked it.
the biggest finish ever, and for one last time, the Sporting Bet best bets of the week, even of the decade, perhaps.
Perhaps so.
The absolute morals.
Yeah, what great... Our last ever birthday wish goes to one of the most dominant figures of PTI's time, Ricky Ponting. Punter this week turns 38. He was outstanding, wasn't he?
He was a guest on our show as well, and this week's Happy Trails is a given. It's us. PTI done and dusted after somewhere between 500 and 550 episodes of absolute dribble.
They're in now for the big finish, Russ. Who won the NRL this year?
Canberra Raiders will win it next year.
Storm for me.
Yeah, and you're picking the AFL?
North Melbourne.
I think the Gold Coast Suns. Now for the final Sporting Bet best bets of the week for me, it is North Melbourne not to win the AFL flag. Sorry, Kecker.
For me it is, and a horse called Eisenhower, which you own.
Yes, to win the Golden Slipper. You can tell who wrote that.
Sporting Bet think the odds about the Roosters going back to back are also pretty good.
That's a serious one. Now, before we go, we have to take you back to our second ever episode in 2004. We got this email from someone called Dave in Melbourne, and he writes, PTI Australia is currently the worst show on TV. The show hosts know nothing. I'm not in the TV business, but I think this show is one that needs to be axed and the US version brought back. Well, Dave, it took 10 years.
You finally got your wish.
But you got your wish.
Well done, Davey boy.
So for the last time on PTI, I'm Russell Barwick.
And I, as always, am Sam Kekovich, and you don't make sense.
Ever since day one, it's
Ever
made
since-
sense. Not for the last time.
And let me tell you, we've got away from base camp finally.
Have a look at the people who've worked on this show.
Yeah.
Look at them all. Thank you, everyone.
We'll be back
Jason
then.
Holland. Heather.
We'll be back, we'll be back.